Let's end DisneyCember with a movie you probably forgot even came out. Strange World bombed hard this year, and I think there's two very clear reasons for it. One of them is, it wasn't advertised very well. I remember seeing the teaser and being like, oh, that looks kind of neat and different, I'm down for that. And then, I don't think I ever saw a follow-up trailer, and nobody I knew was aware that it was coming out the week that it was coming out. So there was clearly poor advertising. But the second reason is, yeah, it's not that great. I definitely can't say it's bad or awful or anything like that, but it's very, very, very underwhelming. It starts with a group of explorers who are trying to find a new power source as their way of life is slowly fading away. The main character named Searcher, yeah, his name is Searcher, finds a plant that can generate energy, but his father wants to keep going. The explorers decide to take these plants back to the village while the father just disappears, never to be seen again. That is, until years later when it looks like the power source is slowly fading away as well. The plants are still there, but the energy just isn't as strong, and it seems to be getting weaker and weaker. Another crew of explorers, along with Searcher and his family, decide to go back into the mountains, and wouldn't you know it, they discover not only his father, but also a strange world. Will they figure out the mystery of the power source in this strange world? Does this all sound like an analogy for something else? Okay, before I go any further, yes, it is very clear there is a climate-changey message going on here, and honestly, it's not as in your face as you would think. Without going too much into spoilers, I actually think the analogy kinda works, and it's creative, and it's interesting. It doesn't feel too preachy until it gets to maybe the last 5 minutes where they do that line where they say, "We're not there yet, but we will be." Kind of like that pompous American Beauty writing where you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you will. Like, yeah, we got it figured out, but don't worry, you'll catch up. Yeah, that part didn't work for me, but honestly, most things tied around the strange world itself was very entertaining and incredibly imaginative. Look at this place, it just looks awesome. I was complaining about how the planet in Lightyear was so boring to infinity beyond. There is nothing here that's interesting. Here, this whole world I just want to explore and look at and examine and see what does what. And when it is finally revealed what this world is, the look of it really does make a lot of sense. At first I thought it was just looking weird to look weird, but there actually is a reasoning behind how this world works, and I think it's really cool. But everything else is very by the numbers. These are the most boring, forgettable characters I've seen in a while. And don't get me wrong, they're not annoying. I wasn't hating them, but they never got a laugh out of me. I never found them interesting, and though I couldn't predict what they were going to talk about, as soon as they started a sentence, I could tell you how it was gonna end. I was practically saying the lines with them as they were wrapping up what they were discovering at that point. At first I kind of like that Searcher's son has a boyfriend in this. I always feel like anytime they kind of want to sneak in some gay character in a Disney property, it's always done like a little bit at the end in a way that can be edited out very easily so it can be shown in other countries. But at first I was pretty impressed that you see them actually talking and flirting with each other and everything, but guess who doesn't come along on the mission? That's right, the son's boyfriend. So yes, this can still very easily be edited out, but I guess they do talk more about it than in other Disney properties, so I don't know. It's about the closest thing to an interesting interaction in this film, and yeah, of course they don't explore it. What they do explore is the son trying to get along with the father, and the father kind of being a deadbeat and not really in his life, and I mean, does this sound familiar? Of course it sounds familiar. You've seen it a million times. And yeah, it's okay to do something that's been done a million times if you add something new, and there is nothing new here. I barely remember these characters' personalities or designs or even names. But I do remember the world, so there's that. It is called Strange World, and it did give me a strange world, so I guess I can't be too angry. Honestly, I wasn't even angry watching it, I was just bored. I was so bored that I was stuck with these people. And it's a shame because I do feel like once in a while Disney will try something a little different with kind of these animated exploring films like Atlantis or Treasure Planet, and I do feel bad when they don't do well because I want to see Disney do something different, but A, you clearly gotta market it better, and B, I just don't think you're gonna keep people's attention with this. Or at the very least, it didn't keep my attention. I don't know, maybe years down the line people will look back and this will be kind of like a little underground masterpiece and people will say they like that it did something different and it was more sci-fi-ish. But sadly for me, it didn't win me over. I still want to see Disney do some new stuff, but some new interesting stuff. And sad to say, A Strange World just isn't enough to keep me interested in A Strange World. But what do you think? Did you like the film? Did you think it was great and that more people should see it? Or did you think it was terrible and Disney should really just stay in its own lane? Or are you somewhere in between? With that said, how'd you like DisneyCember? Once again, it was so much fun doing this, and I love hearing your guys' feedback and different reactions, and yeah, it's a lot of work, but man, it's a lot of fun, and I love hearing what all of you think about these different movies, shows, and games. I had just as great a time this year as I have all the other years, and I can't wait to do it again next year. Thank you all for not only watching this year, but for just watching all these years. By God, we've been doing this over 10 years, if you can believe that. It's so crazy. I truly do have all of you to thank for that, and I guess there's nothing else to say, but I'll see you next DisneyCember.